standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive.
years of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Oh boy, March Madness is in the air, ladies and gentlemen. And in addition to that, the brackets for men and women of NCAA basketball are rocking and rolling today. And we welcome you to the first round of the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. It's the Stars and Stripes Racing League. And we are at the Rockingham Speedway. We hope you're ready. Basketball, racing, collide on iRacing on LSRTV. Good evening. Welcome to coverage. I've been calling baseball. I've been calling lacrosse. And now we're going to call a mixture of basketball and racing. No, it's iRacing. I'm Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten is alongside. Charles, put up the bracket, buddy. It's March Madness racing style, my friend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. March Madness bracket style. We got, you couldn't even get this any better. You got Cole Trickle bracket and Rowdy Burns bracket. I mean, come on.
I love it. Here's the names. Obviously, Scott Rickard and Tom Ogle, number 1, number 4, are going to play one another. They're going to battle one another. They're going to compete within themselves. It's a race within a race. And then the winner of that will advance to take on Kyle McCoy and Chris Smith for the second round. Okay, are you caught up? It's kind of just like a basketball bracket. By the way, if you're a fan of basketball, number 14 Oakland is about to upset number 3 Kentucky Wildcats. They might be going out of the Big Blue home in the tournament first round. Okay, so then you got Kyle McCoy, Chris Smith. They're in the first pairing. Will Bustler, Kyle Bowling, number 5, number 8 seed. Dylan Hoffman, Josh Robinson, number 6, number 7 seed. Number 9 and number 12 seed. We'll find Ross Tatum and Kristen Lawson. Zach Kreitz and Timmy McNally. Jason Gratton, Josh Whitaker. William Duff and Nate Lynch. Now they compete. You see those names. And then those 16 drivers will become 8 at the end of the night, obviously, Charles, and we'll see them advance. And we'll look at the Rowdy Burns bracket real quickly as we're about to start qualifying. Same thing for number 17, Trey Jackson. Number 20, James Howard, Diego Valle, Mark Schrader, Brian Lynch, Ellis Thomas. You've got a total of 32 drivers. And I believe right now, number 29, Mark Fish, has automatically advanced into the next round by virtue, I think, of the car count and the numbers. So automatically, Mark Fish drew and was able to advance. So, hey, whatever happens with him on the track, he knows he's going to the next round, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, having a bye week, essentially, I'll take it on round 1. You get to kind of size up the competition, see what they got, and go from there. It's going to be real interesting to see. Again, something totally different we've never seen before, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And we're in the Cole Trickle bracket and the Rowdy Burns bracket as we start qualifying. Those races will be at Rockingham and Nashville next week. Then Watkins Glen and Iowa will be the battle in the Cricket Bobby bracket and the Brewster Baker bracket. And then that will determine the winner when it's all said and done at Talladega to determine those 4 drivers. And then guess what, Charles? Then we go on to the playoffs as we watch Christian Loschen qualify here at The Rock.
Yeah, playoffs, bracket racing, stuff you don't get to normally see. That's why we're looking forward to it so much. And off the subject a little bit, I do want to quickly, we got to get this out there, Wesley. Full-on disclaimer, we have, extremely bad weather in the area, so if we do lose the stream, we will do our best to get it back up. We are on battery backups here at the studio, so we will do our best to get everything up and running as best we can. But I am really, really looking forward to seeing how all of this bracket into the playoffs. And, it's cool having 2 independent races. You got your little one-on-one grudge match, plus you have the overall picture. So, just excited.
Rockingham Speedway measures at 1.017 miles, 1.636 kilometers, turns 22 to 25 degrees, 8 degrees on the straightaway. Here's the Hunt to Front TV race information for tonight. No fast repair, 100% fuel capacity, 4 sets of tires. That's the 3 in the pits plus the original set. 1 attempt at overtime at a green-white checker. They're going to go over 150 miles tonight, 150 lap break for this.
Yeah, again, a grueling race in my mind, I think, anyway. As this one is probably a tough one just because of those 150 laps. And this track is not necessarily the most forgiving track in real racing or on the sim side of things.
Yeah, that's very true. As Dylan Graham finishing up with his qualifying lap, here comes the Camel Dippo lighter color for the number 4 Ford Baron Hill. See what he does here in qualifying. Obviously, the driver out of Iowa.
If I'm correct, isn't Darlington? That's the track. That's the one that's what, the Lady in Blue or something like that.
The Lady in Black and Too Tough to Tame. Yep.
She may be wearing black, but you hit her too hard, you might be black and blue. So I was close. I knew she was wearing some color, so I was close, wasn't I?
Roughly close.
Things are roughly.
Iowa Baron Hill finishing up with his lap. We talked about the real stormy conditions in the broadcast booth in Texas. Let's take a look at the weather conditions here tonight, presented by Kaufman Creative on the Sim. Sunny skies, partly cloudy. Sunny right now. Virtual sim temp at 78 degrees. Track temp at 106. 2-mile-per-hour wind speed as the Micro Center number 30, Josh Robinson, now ready to qualify for Team Maeda.
And one thing I want to point out, we'll see if we can see it with the 30 scene of Joshua Robinson. Watch when he comes out of these corners. You got to be looking at the front. Watch how this car just bounces. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. Yeah, this track is rough and bouncy, and it's just a product of age. But man, those cars are going to be a handful tonight.
So qualifying has concluded, and Zach Kreitz will now be the man that will bring them to the pole in the Kansas University Jayhawks number 46 Baby Ruth car. He's on the pole to the outside. Christopher Smith right there along in the 81. Remember the on the throttle bracket challenge of all those drivers we mentioned when we came on the air. Ross Tatum, Kyle McCoy, making up row 2. Can Kyle McCoy go to victory lane again? He's been on fire in the 7. Dylan Hoffman in the 15. Joshua Robinson right there to the outside. Row number 4, Kyle Bowling, Christian Lushin, the 44 and the 3. And Charles, your top 10 will find Andrew Hess and Will Bustler, the Daytona winner. He'll start 10th.
Yeah, poor Will Bustler don't have all of his teammates here. He's got Ross Tatum with him, but row 6 going to be Trey Jackson in the 5, and the 05 right next to him of Scott Rickard. And row 7 is going to be the 23 of Dylan Grimm, and who I think is your Doppler twin here, the 25 of Nate Lynch. I think he's your long-lost cousin. Row 8 is going to be the 42 of Jason Gratton, and the 91 of Zachary Smith. And row 9 is going to be the 28 of Josh Whitaker. Whitaker in the 11 of Thomas Ogle. And your top 20, Wesley, is going to be Dylan Glass in the 16 and the 89 of James Walden.
Row 11 is going to find Aaron Hell from Iowa, Ryan Lynch in the 31 to the outside. Row 12, Ryan Lynch and Greg Hammond. Row 13, Timmy McNally is William Duff. That's the On the Throttle podcast number 17 machine. Mark Fish and Mark Schrader, the 13 and the 10. And your final starter will find Paul Thomas by his lonesome in the number 40.
And we didn't, I didn't think about this till just now, Wesley, but we'll do our best going into next week. We have the ability to kind of change things up. You've seen it when we go to Northwest Playoffs on the sidebar, which we'll have up here momentarily. We can make things different. So for going into next week, what we're going to do, we're going to put the two people that are racing each other the same color on the sidebar.
Awesome.
So
that'll be really nice to keep up with. And of course, you'll eliminate 32 down to 16 at the end of the night. So that'll help you.
Yes, and we'll color code those, so you'll see like two blues. You'll know those two guys are racing each other in the next round. Didn't think about it this week, but yeah, we can do that, and we will do it as we're taking the green flag.
Ready to get it started. The run to the bracket playoffs begin, and we're underway at the Rock. Let's get it underway here. Crichton on the inside opens up the door to Tatum. Tatum's got momentum, by the way. He just locked himself into the championship in the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Tuesday night. One of the other leagues that I get a privilege to cover. And all the while now, Tatum up high. Crichton on the bottom. Here comes Smith, and we're one lap in at the Rock, Charles. One to go, one lap in. 149 to go.
Yeah, looking forward to this. And, when I think of the Rock, I honestly think of the movie, or it was maybe not The Rock, Escape from Alcatraz or something like that. Yes.
For the Rock.
Yes, but good movie, but this track's a good track as well, and the league's a good league, and they're putting on a heck of a race. As right now, Tatum out front. Tatum, he's got something to prove in my mind. Is Joshua Altus and Robert Sherwood, his two teammates, they haven't been showing up. So, maybe he's got something to prove. Hey, I like you guys, but I don't necessarily need teammates. He's going to be out front leading this thing.
And by the way, this is the American 150. I don't know if we were so caught up in the bracket and all the stuff that's going on. The American 150 underway here now. Again, round one of the On the Bracket or on the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. And right now, this is a fast track, man. This is a place where literally you could see a plethora of cautions, Charles, or we could see long green flag runs. This is the type of atmosphere that the Rock provides. It always has, even in the real days of NASCAR.
Yeah, it definitely can. And, based on these guys' driving ability and what we've seen, I'm going to say we're going to have the latter. We're going to have probably some more green flag racing than cautions. These guys are just good. We brag about them all the time, but, we got good racing in the Northwest. We're very selective about who we bring on. We don't vet them necessarily, or we got to check you out. But we do our homework, and we try to get with good leagues with fun people and good racing. In my opinion, more of the fun people than the good racing sometimes. But we've had some
Yes.
really good racing with this Stars and Stripes, the Full Throttle stuff. Great people, great racing, and they really go hand in hand. These guys, nobody really fights too much, and they, it shows on the racetrack how respectable they race each other on and off the track.
Closing in on 10 laps into this one here. As Tatum is the new leader. Tatum got around Kreitz, Smith, and McCoy. All that's going on now. Just getting started
That is
in this American 150.
And I can promise you, we like I said, next week we'll have those cool graphics up so you can see who's who, where they are. But we will do everything in our power. We will pull that bracket up if we get cautions, and we'll let you know where everybody is. Who's battling who, because you may be in 5th place, but if the guy you're battling is in 1st, well, that ain't gonna work out too well for you. So, like you mentioned earlier, I mentioned, this is really a kind of like an old grudge match, Wesley. You know those grudge matches. I made you broadcast one-on-one race there one time.
Oh, yeah, man. What was it? Toast and French toast and
Majesty
somebody
Toast or
else.
something like
Yeah.
that. Essentially that's what this is, but you have 28 other cars on the track with you battling in it. So definitely makes for some fun racing. As we're keeping an eye everywhere. There's good battles. We got more battles brewing up at the front right now with Will Bustler, Rickard, Hoffman. Still got Ogle and Grimm back there battling as well. So tons of battles all over this racetrack right now.
Ross, Tatum, Kreitz, Smith, McCoy, Bowling, top 5, 10 laps at full song here at the Rock, and still clean and green in the American 150. The opening round of the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. Matter of fact, real quickly, let's take a look at the sponsors of the Stars and Stripes Racing League as we're under green flag condition. They are proudly presented by Bud Kicker. Thanks to Bud Kicker for jumping on board for this series. Thanks to Next Level Racing. On the Throttle podcast, available at all major podcast platforms and outlets. And of course, sponsor of the bracket challenge. And finally, as we see Christian Lawson eat the wall on the backstretch, Verizon, America's national 5G network plan, always Verizon. I have it as my cell service. 12 laps into it now here at the Rock.
Yeah, I've got them as mine as well, and definitely, if you need them, go check them out. They're good service, but and also they're awesome that they're sponsoring this series. Getting some of these big names in there, and they're not just a name; they're actually putting stuff into it as well. So, but I believe somebody got a prize package last week, so a big shout out to them on winning that.
Yes. Yeah.
These guys, I think they really, really understand this bracket because everybody is battling for every position they can get right now. You got the 91 and the 5 battling out, and it says 91, believe it. Yeah, that's Smith, and you got the 11 just ahead of him. The 5's behind him, actually. That is Trey Jackson. So really you got a 3-car battle, more like a 6-car battle, if you're honest, right here together. The 11, the 23, the 91, the 5. There's just a ton of cars mixed up, all for about 10th place.
Big gaggle of traffic there. Tom Ogle. Graham up on the outside. Behind them, Ogle. And then you've got, of course, Smith, Whitaker. Little 23 popping in view and then leaving. Grimm. Right now we watch him work back into the corner. Up top side, the 7 machine. McCoy. H5, Celsius, Chevrolet, and no doubt about it, Charles, everybody's got a bullseye on McCoy going into the bracket challenge. He has been really strong of late in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has been a force to be reckoned with. So, yeah, he's got a huge target on his back. You know, if you can beat the guy who's been winning stuff, that means you got a shot. So you definitely want to be beating him along with everybody else. And we keep jumping to the front, but there's a huge, and I like to use your word, gaggle of cars back here for 14th and 15th.
There you go. You learned the Wesley lingo, if you will.
Yeah, we'll have to coin a phrase for that. It's the Wesley lingo, so it's like Wingo or something. I don't know. We'll have to coin a phrase for that one. Is that a thing? Can we call it the Wingo? The Wesley lingo?
Yeah. Wesleyisms, as they call it. Is it Wesleyisms?
Yeah, Wesleyisms. There we go. But these guys have good racing isms. I don't think that's a thing, but yeah, I want to keep an eye on the front, but man, these guys are duking it out for about 10th through 15th right now. They are just side by side, and then they'll get single file. They don't stay there long. They're really getting racy. And we go to tell you all the time, just because you're up front doesn't mean that's where the show is. You know, you can put on just as good a show back here in the rear, and that's where they're doing it midfield right now.
Everything pretty much calm, cool, collective in the early going. By the way, just a quick reminder, tonight, the American 150. Next week, it is nighttime events at Nashville Super Speedway, the Music City 200 Round 2. Also, of the On the Throttle Bracket Challenge. 32 drivers will be nestled down to 16, which, by the way, actually, it's actually 31 because we were missing one driver. So 31 drivers, one guy automatically moving into the next bracket, and that is, of course, Mark Fish. But still close to 32, Charles. 31 drivers. That's not bad. But anyhow, there will be 16 drivers when we close out the night. Sweet 16 at the end of the week for basketball in the NCAA March Madness. Well, in 2 weeks' time, we'll have the Sweet 16 for the bracket challenge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, you know, the further you get into the bracket, the tougher it's going to be. So that's going to be real interesting. Yeah. And we could have some major upsets. You know, you have those upsets in March Madness where, you know, a team that's, you know, ranked 10 gets beat by someone who's like a 30, and it's a big upset. You have that, you know, you could just have an off night on the setup, or, you know, you could get taken out. So, you know, it makes you think, you know, how are these guys going to drive? Are they going to, if they're a more of aggressive driver style, are they going to be as aggressive, or are they going to tone that back a little bit to try not to get caught up in wrecks? Because a wreck is a good way to just say, you are out of this thing.
Losh had got in the wall earlier, the number 3 machine coming at you. And we're starting to see massive cloud cover over the racetrack, Charles, for the first time. Almost the shadow of the cars being not visible. They're starting to pop in a little bit more, but boy, it looked like almost darkness coming here at the Rock in that moment off the corner into 3 and 4 lap ago.
Yeah, like right here, you're looking at, like, the shadows are gone. You don't see a whole lot of car shadows. And now we'll come into the next set of corners, and now they're back. So you're right. Half this track is covered in clouds, and half of it is covered in sun. And you'll see it happen again right here. You see it gets darker and darker until that shadow right about coming into here is all but gone. Actually, it looks like some of the cloud cover has gone away now as we're mostly sunny. But yeah, it was like half and half.
Ross Tatum in the lead. Zach Kreitz, the Kreitz machine in second. Zach Kreitz second. Scott Rickard third. Christopher Smith, Will Bustler. Remember, they're also racing within their bracket. Matter of fact, let's go through the field and try to find some of our bracket drivers. And obviously, number 1, Scott Rickard and Tom Ogle. Rickard is in third. There you see him right there in the Tire Pro Chevrolet. Tom Ogle way in the back, Charles, in 14th. There he is.
Yeah, so obviously Ogle's
Gotta
got a
pick it
little
up.
bit of work to do.
Kyle McCoy, number 2 seed, number 3 seed, Chris Smith. Kyle McCoy is in 6th. There he is. And
Yeah.
where is Chris Smith?
behind him.
Right behind you, brother.
He,
You're not
he
gonna get away that easy.
yeah, that's 7 of McCoy. He is not getting away right now. His Smith is right there with him saying what does he say here, kitty kitty? He's coming for him.
And the same could be said about Will Bustler, who is in the number 4 spot on the racetrack in the 1, and Kyle Bowling's right behind him. The number 5 and number 8 seed, and there you see him.
Yeah, this
Dylan
is,
Hoffman, he's the number 6 seed. Hoffman on the racetrack, he is in 12th. Josh Robinson is up ahead of him. Charles in 8th.
yeah, so and a caution.
And we've got a caution. First time in the race, up in the wall. Oh no, Tom Ogle in trouble. Battling Scott Rickard in the bracket. And he's got trouble. At least I think the red car was involved as well.
We are about to find
Here's
out.
a
as
replay.
He has the 3 around him of Lawson, but we'll see exactly what happened in the replay. And they're right there together.
Oh,
And yeah,
man.
contact was made, but not a whole lot. Oh, right there.
Got lynched. Oh no. And there's the red car. There's the red car that got in the wall. That's the one that I said, I think he got a little piece of it, but that was a secondary accident. Here's a look at it one more time. Christian Lawson right on the left front of the 3 on the 11 of Ogle, and then Lynch into the right rear, or the left rear, nowhere to go.
It's one of those deals, Lynch just nowhere to go. He went low, and unfortunately, by the time he got to where the incident was, it had already cleaned itself off this track and moved to the bottom. And, well, that's just one of the things. It's unfortunate, but everybody's coming down pit road.
And when you say everybody, Charles, you're not telling a fib. Almost everybody, and it is all 29 virtual charter members coming down in their kaleidoscope of colors. It is about to be a smorgasbord activity on pit road. 4 tires and fuel, the premium. As you see everybody working all the way from the pit road box from turn number 3 all the way back to turn 1, and 4 tires and fuel. Who's going to break out first? Scott Rickard is out. Can he go to the lead? No, he will not. Tatum beat Rickard. Crike, Bustler, McCoy. It sounds like a law firm. It's the top 5 on pit road exit. We take a break. This is the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge, American 150 from the Rock with the Stars and Stripes Racing League, and you're tuned in to iRacing on LSRTV.
Drag race to the line.
Back here at the Rock, and the bracket challenge rolls on. First caution of the race, by the way, that's brought to you by, of course, Virginia811.com. Let's get back to green. 115 laps to go, and for the restart in the Geico restart zone, Ross Tatum is gone. Rickard inside. Back to it, door to door. Charles on the restart, out of 2.
Yeah, what is that? Second verse, same as the first. They had a caution, but they're right back at it again, duking it out side by side. And again, Tatum and Rickard, we'll see how they settle this one out. It looks like it's going to go to Tatum again. He went in first, He came out first, but he's got his hands full right now with that 05 of Scott Rickard. He is not letting him have the lead easy.
Second verse, same as the first, or if you're a fan of Aerosmith, same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. There goes Rickard and Tatum, right there battling alongside with one another.
And we got Tanner L. I'm assuming that's Tanner Lynch, possibly another Tanner, wanting to know how one of his buddies there wanting to know how Ryan Lynch is doing. So we'll check in with old Ryan Lynch. I believe
Ryan Lynch is in the bracket as well. Ryan Lynch is right now in the Rowdy Burns bracket. Ryan Lynch is taking on Derek Offerman. Well, there's a little good luck for him. Offerman didn't show up, so this is an automatic advance for the driver of Ryan Lynch. Ryan's looking to be in 21st, and we got trouble. Back straight away, the 13, Fish is involved. Mark Fish, one of the drivers that have already advanced into the second round of the On the Bracket Challenge, on the Throttle Bracket Challenge, involved in an incident on the back straightaway. Second caution immediately here as we approach lap 40, Charles.
Yeah, and he
big
was
gaggle of traffic
around.
Up ahead.
Yeah, big gaggle of traffic, and that car was bouncing really hard on this track as it's, real rough and real bumpy, and I'm not sure if that played a factor. No, he just got loose and just hammered the inside wall. Oh, and it gets nailed again.
Man. Wow.
That car is broke. I want to take another look. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go on board with him, and you'll see him try to fight this wheel. It just gets loose.
Sure did. My goodness. Wow. Another angle of it.
Right here, you'll see him come in. And you can already tell he's fighting this thing. It's just not handling the way he wanted. And right there, just bam. And then it's not over yet. Boom, right again. But just unfortunate for him, man. To get hit twice like that, that's a hard lick, Wesley.
Tough break. 41 of 150 laps as the caution coming out again. There's Ross Tatum up in front. By the way, let's take a look real quickly at the Virginia811.com race summary as you approach about 1/3 of the way through in this race. 2 cautions, 6 caution laps, 0 lead changes. Why? Because Ross Tatum has been picking them up and putting them down. Ross Tatum on this track, by the way, he is doing well. Yeah, battling in his bracket is with Christian Lawson, and right now the number 9 seed, Ross Tatum, leading the way, Charles. Christian Lawson is still on the racetrack, though he's all the way back in 15th.
Yeah, definitely winning the race is the way to do it. Obviously, you're ahead of everybody at that point. In this scenario, and we will definitely ask these drivers later on in the race, is a second or third place finish, good enough? Are you happy with that? Or did you want the win? Obviously they want the win, but are they going to be happy with, a second or third place, knowing that they were ahead of their drivers? So I would imagine that the answer is yes, but hey, these guys are they're out here for wins, and that's what they really want.
And let's try this again. Ready for the restart. Back to racing. Tatum on the restart of the Geico restart zone. Gone. Scott Rickard to the inside. Bustler, Kreitz. Correction, that's Bowling. Kreitz just got passed by the 44. Oh, boy, look at this restart. The outside lane coming to work, and here comes McCoy on the bottom. They're going to go 3 wide. He thought about it. Oh, he thought about it, Charles.
Yeah, he thought about it, and then he thought better of it. I'm going to hold off here. A little early to be going, 3 and 4 wide, 3 wide in this case. But, yeah, he definitely thought about that, and maybe not the best time to do it. We still have 107 laps to go, 106 at the line. And he definitely, I think, made the smart move. Maybe not the move he wanted, but he made the smart move. And that may have scared the little five, or the five a little bit, as he's going to possibly back off a little bit. He's making that charge again. We may have a really good battle going on for the lead here pretty much this entire race. This could get really good at the end.
Definitely watch it. We're approaching now 100 laps, by the way, 30 laps to halfway when they come back to the line. And look at now Rickard inside. Scott Rickard, plenty of room given to Ross Tatum. Tatum will take advantage up on the outside in that Papo Chico sparkling water number 21 machine. That's one of the new drinks by Coca-Cola product.
You know, I've yet to see that drink
Inside
in Walmart,
Rickard.
though.
Going out?
I've yet to see that water in Walmart yet. Then again, I don't go to Walmart very often, but still, I usually have my stuff delivered. So maybe that might help if I actually went to Walmart. But, yeah, these guys are they're putting a battle up front. I'm going to go the deeper in this field. You go back. You got some more battles for the top 10 going on with Dylan Grime, Jason Dratt, and Josh Robinson, Nate Lynch. These guys still putting on the battle back here. So, again, you're not up the front, but you're still battling, and you got to make sure you're ahead of your rival or, you know, bracket partner, whatever you want to call them. You've got to be ahead of them. So, you know, it makes you wonder. Not all of these do have spotters, but if I had a real-life spotter in here, Wesley, I think that would be a much better scenario because you want to keep tabs really on that one driver more than you want to do the rest of the field. So a real spotter would be very handy right now to tell you, hey, your bracket guy is in 16th, you're in 18th. Because they have a relative in here to where you can kind of see how far you are away from like 2 or 3 guys ahead of you and 2 or 3 guys below you. But if your guy's 8 spots ahead that you need to get to, you're not seeing him on that relative to know where he's at. So, you know, I would definitely want a real spotter.
Back across the line. Under 100 laps to go now. 50 laps into it. First round of the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge, round 1 here tonight at the American 150. iRacing on LSRTV. Charles Wooten, I'm Wesley Outland. Rocking and rolling into this first race. And Charles, how about this, man? We go 5 rounds. Obviously, Nashville next week after Rockingham tonight. Watkins Glen in 2 weeks. Then we go to Iowa and the Talladega Super Speedway. And then guess what we do to determine the bracket champion? Then we go right into the playoffs. We go in the playoffs. And it starts at Homestead.
Yeah, this is one of the coolest systems I've seen on iRacing. You know, I don't want to steal their idea, but, you know, if by some chance Jeff Stabnow is watching, we need a bracket system. we need a bracket system. Honestly, you know, Jeff is a good friend, you know, almost like a brother like you are, but he might could benefit from a bracket, you know. He does not have the best of luck in the playoffs, so, you know, we'll give him an advantage if we can, but yeah, I just would love to see more of this. This is kind of their thing, so I don't want to see it, monopolizing.
No, it's unique. It's unique.
It is very unique.
It definitely is.
So,
by the way, let's grab some more brackets. Let's pick up some more brackets. We kind of done the first 4 in the Cole Trickle bracket. Let's go to the bottom 4 now. Ross Tatum obviously is leading. Christian Lawson, where is he on the track? Way back in 16th in that battle amongst those two. Zach Kreitz is the number 10 seed against number 11, Timmy McNally. And Zach Kreitz is obviously in the number 6 spot in car number 46 on the racetrack. There he is behind Kyle Bowling. He was the pole driver, by the way. And, of course, behind him is McNally all the way back in 18th on the racetrack. So there's your bracket between those two. Jason Grattan in the number 13 and number 16, Josh Whitaker. Grattan is up ahead of Whitaker. He's in ninth. There's the Fockies Indians number 42 machine. Whitaker battling with the 5 of Jackson. That is obviously for 13th and 14th as we're approaching lap 60. And finally in the Cole Trickle bracket for Days of Thunder. Let me drive, Cole. I won't make a fool out of you. William Duff. He is right now 20th on the racetrack, the number 14 seed, battling with the driver Nate Lynch. Nate Lynch, where are you at, Nate? He's all the way back.
He's in 12th.
He is up in 12th. My apologies. In the 12th spot. Yeah, there he is. A lot of Lynches in this series, and the Cyhawk Motorsports number 25 is right there with that Budweiser. Awesome colors. I love that car, that throwback, if you will, the Budweiser Camaro Chevrolet number 25. And there's a look at drivers in the Cole Trickle bracket.
And
Charles,
it's so
we're approaching
cool.
lap 60.
Yeah, we're getting there in the laps. I mean, it's so cool. There's 2 brackets. You know, we got through 1. You know, here in a little bit we'll go through 2. We'll go through the second one, and again,
we get to the second half of the race.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we just went through the Cole Trickle bracket. You know, that in the first half. In the second half is when they get rowdy, and that's where we're going to go through the Rowdy Barnes bracket. So it's a very nice play there for us. So, you know, didn't plan it, but that's the way it worked out. But yeah, definitely looking to see how this one goes. And again, like you said, we're taking 32 drivers, even though one had a bye, Mark. But, you know, we're going to go ahead and say we're going to go with the 16 next week. So, again, it is going to whittle out, and you'll have 8, and then you'll move on. And, again, it's going to be a really cool system. And, you know, somebody's going to get an upset. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, 32 will become 16 at the end of the night. Then those 16 will become 8. Those 8 drivers will battle at the road course at Watkins Glen. 8 will become 4. Those final 4 will duke it out at Iowa. And then the final 2, which, by the way, that bracket at Iowa and Talladega will be the Ricky Bobby bracket and the Brewster Baker bracket. I love that they're tagging racing movies into this bracket also, Charles.
Yeah,
I like that. I love it.
You know, they couldn't have done it any better. And yeah, definitely, we're going to make sure we talk about it as much as we can because of how unique it is. Like I said, next week we're going to make it even easier. Whether the whole bar on this sidebar is a color, or if we put a little splash of color in there, somehow we are going to make it to where it is very identifiable. You'll have like 2 blues, 2 reds. Eventually, we
2
may
yellows,
run out of
2
color.
greens, 2 purples, 2 blacks, something of that caliber. Yes.
So we will make it very clear that these are the guys battling each other. So you can easily just look at the sidebar and see where your driver is and how they're doing in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to that, and it gives me a reason to use that those new colors and extra stuff we can do in the sidebar. So again, looking extremely forward to that, and I'm sure the fans out there watching are going to look forward to being able to, be able to tell who they're racing if they don't have access to that bracket right offhand. So we do it as much for our own benefit as we do the fans.
Should be a good one, no doubt about it. As we watch now the 23 of Grimm DoorDash machine inside battles with Robinson. Robinson kind of having a quiet night right now outside the top 10. Grattan watching on. Hey, by the way, Race On is the home of the dirt car racing. Comp Cam Super Dirt Series, and obviously they're back to racing this upcoming weekend. Arrowhead Raceway doubleheader. Or are they going to be out on the 5th and 6th? It's Arrowhead, isn't it? April 5th and 6th?
I'm not sure, but I believe it's in Missouri somewhere, actually. This week they're off, and then next week I have to look at the schedule.
Last weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, last week was Arrowhead in Springfield.
Yes, we
The
did
lights
go
were
there.
so cool, by the way. I saw the highlights of the race for Arrowhead Speedway, man, and the way they had the lights cut on and off. I was like, damn, that's actually a really nice racetrack. That's a track that it looks state of the art. It really did. It was sharp.
They put a lot of money into that facility, and that's if it doesn't rain out. That's where I'm at this weekend.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday, but rain ain't looking too good for their friend right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, good racing in real life. Good racing here tonight as well. As these guys still duking it out. This is for 10th. Again, we're watching 10th place. Ross Tatum, he's done said see you later and took off with a sizable lead, but not so much. That's not what we're watching. We're watching Bratton, Robinson, Grime, Smith, or Grimm, Grimm, Smith, keep going to Grime, Nate Lynch, all these guys, they're duking it out in the heart of this field.
And Charles, you'll be happy because there's actually a break in the action for the Comp Cam's Super Dirt Car Series. Their next race will not be until April 5th and 6th. April 5th, Poplar Bluff Speedway and Old Number 1 Speedway on April the 6th for the Cow Paddock. That'll be on Race On as well. And you're producing it.
Yep.
We approach halfway.
I was told that is my baby. I get to produce every one of them, so definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, always cool when you get your own, and we like to give some of our Race On partners a little love over here. I know this threw you off last time, Wesley, but as we watch this battle on, these guys, they're gonna break their cars potentially. It's not gonna cost them anything. They get they don't have a fast repair, but they come back next week and they race. But unfortunately, that's not how it works in real life. Sometimes your parts go like this, and then you're just all over the place. But that's why you go to J Motorsports and get you some parts.
Yes, J Motorsports for your parts needs and more.
And like I said, these guys.
I love how you segue to that. That was perfect, Charles. You've done this a long time.
I have, and I've learned from you quite a bit as well. Yeah, hopefully those guys, if they race in real life, they don't need to buy parts. But if they do, hey, you can check them out there. And these guys duking it out side by side, the 25 and the 81 of Nate Lynch and Chris Smith. They've been battling for quite some time now. So we'll see how it all plays out. They got the 23 DoorDash of Dylan Graham just ahead of them. So again, good battles pretty much all over this track. The front's kind of spread out, but the back, that's where your best battles are right now. And we're halfway.
Halfway home in the American 150. And Ross Tatum has just dominated this thing, haven't he? I mean, wow.
Yeah, he is definitely dominating this race for sure. And we're actually happier. Wesley, other than the little minor new PC issues we've had on the other broadcast last night, we're actually happy to announce that we do have some solid internet, so we don't have that little drop that we used to have as we got a caution brewing.
Wow, yellow flag out over the speedway.
Never came out.
And the caution will fly. Yep, they didn't throw a caution, though. We're still green. I thought they were going to throw a caution. They didn't, Charles. We're still green.
That I did not see coming. I saw the 81 looping it. I was for sure we were going to have a caution, but we did not. So, there's a reason we're announcers and producers, Wesley, and not a flagman, because the real flagman said, no, not so quick. That ain't a caution. So, good save. Did not bring it out, and I completely forgot where my point was, but, yeah, a terrific save to not bring out that caution. Any idea where I was in my point? Because I forgot, Wesley.
We were talking about the fact that we were approaching halfway and sometimes parts get broken.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking about parts breaking, but yeah, halfway point.
Day Motorsport.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, halfway point is we've just passed it, obviously, and yeah. Again, we're talking about these guys battling up front. They've kind of cleaned out, but now we've got that battle starting to brew between the 30 and the 46. And look who the 46. Kreitz, he's going to go back one spot, but he is still charging as hard as he can. He's trying to get up there and get back to where he started on pole. Maybe just not the night he's handling it. Wesley, this is where, it's unfortunate if your car is not handling the long run, and that seems to be what you're going to get in this race. It can be very frustrating. You want to be able to make changes, but those changes aren't going to happen unless you get a caution, and we're just not seeing this tonight.
We've had about 2 yellow flags of the race. So I think right now we're kind of settled in here. Second half of the race of the event. Ross Tatum. Real quickly, let's take a look at the race summary. Virginia811.com reminding you dig with care. And right now there it is. 2 cautions in the race so far. 7 caution laps. No lead changes. We started with Kreitz on the pole, but quickly up in front was Ross Tatum on the green, and he never looked back.
Yeah, Tatum, he just said, see you later, put the keys on the counter, and checked out from this hotel. He is right now about a 0.5 of a lead. 0.5253, now it's 0.6. So he's got a nice, sizable lead here at the moment. We'll see. You always wonder, is he that fast, Wesley, or could the 05 be, kind of holding back a little bit, sandbagging, not wanting to use up all of his tires because they don't have, unlimited sets. They only have 4 sets of tires.
That's true. Yeah, you're exactly right. And they've already pitted one time, obviously, when we had that caution. Everybody, for the most part, is pitted once. 2 times for Tom Ogle, obviously, who got crashed out earlier in the race. But right now, 1 pit stop. I don't see anybody showing any likes of pitting again. Hey, by the way, we mentioned the On the Throttle Bracket Challenge. March Madness here for iRacing for the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Now it's time to highlight the drivers in the Rowdy Burns bracket. Getting rowdy, Charles. And we start with the number 17 seed and number 20, Trey Jackson and James Howard. Right now, Trey Jackson on the racetrack is in 16th.
And we got pit stops right in the middle of this one.
Yeah, we might need to hold off on our bracket challenge right now, as Trey Jackson is right now 16th on the racetrack for Wolfpack Racing. His nemesis in the challenge bracket is James Howard, and James Howard, oh boy, where is he at? Did he even show up tonight?
I do not believe James Howard showed up tonight.
I don't even see James Howard even here. Wow. That's an automatic forfeit, Charles. He goes on to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, not the way you want to do it, but hey.
Yeah.
As we're watching pit stops here, I had this thought come in my head, Wesley, and we are in the Cole Trickle and Rowdy Barnes brackets. Now that you have these fresh tires,
it's time for ice cream.
well, that too. But I was thinking about that one part of the movie,
ice cream,
where we were talking about, are you saving tires or are you not saving tires? And I think where I'm going with this. That part of the movie where he's like, Cole, you need to slow down. You're wearing the tires out. And he's like, I'm not going any faster. Yeah. They're just slower.
Yeah.
So,
that was after all the tire testing. That's when he finally won at Darlington. Yeah.
Yeah. So Darlington, it seems fitting. It makes you wonder if these guys are saving tires or if they're just going all out with them. Stuff we'll find out later on in this race. But right now, Will Busser, he's got fresh ones, and he's moving too.
Next week is the Music City 200 laps. That'll be, of course, at the Nashville Super Speedway, mile and a half in virtual Lebanon. By the way, let me clarify, 200 miles, 150 laps next Thursday night. iRacing on LSRTV, the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Once we kind of if we could try to figure out a way to quicken up the bracket or these green flag pit stops, looks like things have settled down. Front runners came in. Let's pick up the bracket again. Diego Valle on the racetrack.
I don't think
Is
he
he
showed
even
up
here?
either.
I don't think he's here either. What in the world? Diego Valle. Mark Schrader. He's in 22nd.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
You
know
want to show
Mark
his
Schrader's
car, at
here.
least make everybody happy. Yeah, there he is. Willen Engineering. Watt Toyota. He'll advance to the next round. Obviously, Valle, even if he shows up, he's out.
I
Hess
think they're
on
just
pit
waiting
road.
for you to go through the bracket, Wesley. Fords are going to come down and fit.
Yeah. We already mentioned him. I think I did. I don't know if I did or not. Green flag pit stops. As soon as I start the bracket again, they friggin' pit.
Hey,
Here comes 25 Lynch in. He is in the Cole Trickle bracket. Here comes Grimm with 23.
and he's going to have a little bit of a connection issue. He's been having it all race.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that. As now Ross Tatum's in, your leader. Maybe he's coming in for a fresh Coca-Cola.
Topo Chico Sparkling Bottled Water number 21 Coca-Cola Chevrolet Camaro in of Ross Tatum. He gives up the lead. Gives it to Scott Rickard. Tatum is battling Christian Lawson in his bracket. Scott Rickard battling Tom Ogle. Everybody coming in for green flag pit stops, Charles, as we approach lap 100.
Yeah, and look at this. Up there, disc golf. I don't know if you've ever played disc golf, Wesley. That is a hard game to play. So, yeah. Just a fun fact there. Yes, disc golf is very, very frustrating and hard to play. And by the way, Will Bussler, fastest lap of the race, 24.35 on those fresh tires.
Rickard, McCoy, Bowling, Kreitz, and whoa! Somehow whistled by there. Will Bussler, show how old tires are definitely a disadvantage than the new tires are. That's a prime example, Charles. Bussler could have got taken out right there. Luckily, he weaseled by.
And that was a close one for Will Bussler. It looks like he pretty much escaped that with minimal damage. We'll see. He's riding right up to the wall, so he may have sustained a little bit of damage, hopefully not too much, after going from the fastest lap of the race to possibly some damage. So we'll see. Again, he's riding the high side, not necessarily meaning any damage. I don't see too much on that car, Wesley.
McCoy, Celsius Live Fit Peach Vibe number 7 on pit road. By the way, that's Live Fit, not Live Fit. My apologies. I do a lot of radio and TV and always say live, L-I-V-E, live, live. Celsius Live Fit. Charles, speaking of Victory Fuel, man, have you tried you tried that out yet? You said you're a favorite of it, right?
Yes, I am definitely a favorite of it. Yeah, I would definitely go for it. You know, I've got 2 different drinks, actually, from 2 of our leagues. Over on the, of course, Full Throttle stuff. Got some of the Victory Fuel. I love the lemon. I like both of them, but again, I like the lemon a little bit more. And I still have my container of Swift energy drink, so definitely like that one. I believe it's raspberry flavored. So really liking that one as well. I take it right before I'm supposed to go lay down and go to sleep so that I don't have to go to bed. And it keeps me focused and alert. Pit stops are
Kyle Bolin now the new leader, but he's coming to the pit lane. So is Jason Gratton. Josh Robinson will now be scored as a new leader. Christian Lawson now climbing up to the 2nd spot. Trey Jackson will follow. Green flag pit stops happening. Cars in the back, including Zach Kreitz, Brian Lynch pitting. Lap 102, under 50 laps to go, Charles. That's Grattan. Other cars on pit road.
Yeah, it seems like just, 10 minutes ago we were saying, hey, we got 107 to go, and now we're almost coming up on to lap 107. And like you mentioned, just a handful of laps to go, and McCoy just set the fastest lap, 24:29, and we do 48 laps to go. Before you know it, this race will be over, and then we get to talk to these drivers and say, good race. What was it like out there on this rough and abrasive track? As you can see them bouncing all over the place. More speed, though, Wesley, does potentially lead to cautions.
Lawson on pit road. He now gives up a top 5. Coming to the pits in the 3.
They're checking the weather, and fantastic news other than some light rain. It looks like the studio here is completely out of any danger of anything that could potentially knock us off air. Hopefully, they're getting, it's light rain. That don't mean it's got some wind behind it or something. So we'll always keep an eye on it, but it looks like we're in the clear, Wesley.
There you go.
A far cry from what it was earlier this afternoon, and we were in a flash flood actually here at the studio. It came from a raindrop to a massive flood in like 10 minutes, and we were trying to figure out at the studio why there's a drainage ditch next to the studio, why it was flooding and reaching up to the parking lot area, and then we realized that the trash can had blown over and was in the drainage ditch and blocking it. So we had to get that out real quick, and, well, all was good after that.
Trey Jackson now, the man up in front, the number 5. Will Bustler in hot pursuit to run him down. 2.5 seconds back. American 150. Bustler into the wall in the safer barrier in turn 2. Somehow kept it going, but he does get in the wall.
Yeah, I think when he got that little scuffle earlier, I think it gave him a little damage. It's not something we can visibly see a whole lot, but I think it definitely did something because he cannot keep it low on the track anymore. He's going higher and higher, and, well, there you see it. He's almost going to scrape it again, Wesley. Well, it's not mattering. He took the lead even with it.
Yeah, in fine fashion. Did you see how he cut the deficit in less than 2 seconds, even ramming the wall, the one back to the point. Bustler high again, and he's up into the safer barrier.
And if he can manage to scrape the wall and still win this thing, I will be impressed for sure, as he is definitely got a rocket ship if he can do that. However, his teammate Ross Tatum is not far behind. I mean, in retrospect, he is quite a bit of a gap, but we know Ross Tatum has he's got the boosters on. He's been fast, and he gets into the 91. I'm not sure if the 91 came down or he went up, but contact was made.
Green flag pit stops have concluded. Let's go back to the Rowdy Burns bracket, shall we? We mentioned Jackson on track. James Howard.
James Howard, I do not believe is here.
James Howard is not here. Trey Jackson right now, as we mentioned, leading before the green flag pit stops. He'll now fall back into second spot. Valier and Schrader. We know Schrader's here. Valier is not. Let's pick up Brian Lynch on the racetrack, as this is the Rowdy Burns bracket.
Yeah, we got a lot of Lynches. There's Brian Lynch.
I told you, man, Brian Lynch on the racetrack. Where's he at now? I think he's...
There he is. He is in 25th in that 24
car.
Hooters machine.
Yeah, he's not having a good night for him, actually, yeah.
Not the night he wanted, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely struggling, if you will.
And I promise
And
this
that
should
right.
conclude pit stops.
Yeah, we already mentioned him. We'll continue with the bracket. As obviously now Ryan Lynch, and you saw him. Derek Offerman on the racetrack. Is Derek out there? Derek
Offerman is not
I
here.
don't think
Ryan
he's
Lynch is here, though.
Yeah, a lot of absence, guys, man. A lot of guys not present.
And that's
And the only reason, by the way, Mark Fish got an advancement to the next round is because there's not a 32 bracket. He got lucky. Whenever it kind of schedules out, he goes to the next round of the Sweet 16.
Yeah, you know.
Next drivers we're watching. Oh, I'm sorry, Charles. Go ahead.
Yeah, something you don't want to do is miss a race when it's a bracket style because you're done.
Yes. Not next drivers in the Rowdy Burns bracket. The bottom 4 seeds: Tom Wizza, number 25 seed; Greg Hammond, number 28 seed. I don't think Tom Wizza is here tonight.
Yeah,
Greg Hammond is here.
Yeah, he's not having the night he
Hammond
wanted.
is 26. Hammond's 2 laps down, but he's still doing what he needs to do in the bracket. Paul Thomas and Andrew Hess. Those are the next bracket. That's number 26 and 27.
Hess is doing what he needs to do in 6th place.
Yeah, Andrew Hess in the 6th spot. Paul Thomas is all the way back, Charles. 18 laps down in 27.
And he is actually out of this
race. There he is. He's out of the race, actually.
So,
yeah,
he's out. So Andrew Hess pretty much advances at this point because Paul, like I said, Paul Thomas, he is packed it up in the trailer. So Hess did what he needed to do.
Mark Fish automatically, by the way, going on to the next round, as we mentioned, and the Smith battle in the bracket. Mitch Smith and Zach Smith on the racetrack.
There's Chris Smith.
Not Christopher Smith. Not Chris Smith.
Which Smith?
Mitch Smith and Zach Smith. I don't even. Zachary Smith is in 21st. And I don't think Mitch Smith made the attendance. I don't think he showed up.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to say, these guys unfortunately not making it. Gave a lot of these guys an easy first round. So this is going to make it real interesting come second round because, they got to kind of have a cakewalk here in the first one. Second one, you really got to step up your game. Some of these guys back there that are further back in there that, need to get a better finish. They're getting lucky this round. And it's just like March Madness. Sometimes you just get lucky. And that's the way some of these guys are getting here, Not saying they're bad drivers, they just did not have the night they needed, but they squeaked it out anyway, so I'm really looking forward to the round of 16.
Tatum and Bustler. 3-4 seconds separate them as we close in on 30 laps to go.
Closing in, checking
Tatum
on
up in the wall here at the Rock. Wow. Tatum in the wall, just like Bustler did.
I'm really looking forward to talking to Tatum if he gets the top 3 like he is right now, and Bustler if he can pull off the win. I want to talk to at least one of them, see, how was that car handling? Because they were so quick. Was it the damage he sustained, or are these cars just getting so tight that they just can't turn them later in this race? I was looking at the weather a bit ago. The track is not necessarily that hot. It's only 96 degrees now, air temp 77. So it's not that hot, but it could be changing the whole handling of this car.
125 down, close it in on the final quarter remaining. 25 laps to go when they come to the line. In a few more circuits, it's the American 150 here at the Rockingham Speedway. iRacing on LSRTV, round number 1 of the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. Coverage of the Stars and Stripes Racing League as we approach 25 to go. Tatum in the wall again, trying to run down Bustler. It's presented by Butt Kicker. Obviously the best vibrating race seat in the nation. on your iRigs. Get Butt Kicker today. Thanks also to Next Level Racing. The Bracket Challenge is presented by On the Throttle Podcast, available on all major platforms and outlets where podcasts are played. And finally, Verizon, the nation's 5G #1 network. Verizon, proud sponsor of qualifying.
Yeah, and
Tatum.
we're good.
No, I was going to say Tatum is finding cloud cover again, Charles.
Yeah, he definitely is. And, someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is how it started. The butt kicker actually didn't originate on iRacing. I believe it actually started in like NASA or something like that, to simulate the stuff when they were, on the spaceships and stuff. So I know it didn't originate on iRacing, but I'm believing it was originated over at like NASA or something like that. So if someone knows better than me, please correct me if I am wrong, but I was thinking I heard that at one time. I haven't actually looked it up myself to figure it out, but I know they were there for a while. They were sponsoring people, and you could give them out as prizes, and everybody was starting to get them. They kind of exploded on iRacing.
Next week, we're going to Nashville, round 2 of the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. Nashville Super Speedway and the Music City 200, another 150 lapper. Then we're going to the Butt Kicker Grand Prix, Watkins Glen, New York, 40 laps, 100 miles, almost 98 miles. April 4th, April 11th, the penultimate race in the Bracket Challenge. Iowa Speedway, 200 laps in the Cyhawk 200. The final race of the Bracket Challenge will be the Butt Kicker 200. 75 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway, Charles. You and I both love Talladega. Super Speedway race is just so much fun as we close in on 20 to go next time by. And then, Charles, as we mentioned, we move in from the Bracket Challenge to the playoffs. Homestead, the South Beach 200, the Old School 200 All-Star Throwback Race at North Wilkesboro. We're going to Auto Club May 9th, May 16th. Penultimate race in the playoffs of the championship at Phoenix. And then the drivers will battle it out for the title at Las Vegas in the Sim City Shootout. Verizon, 150.
A lot of racing, a lot of cool stuff going on. And I've already talked to Nate Lynch about their All-Star race. And
what about the Stars and Stripes Indy 500 too? I forgot to mention that, Charles.
Yeah, I know they've got one coming up. He gave me, unfortunately, potentially on a Friday or Saturday, which is, as well as yourself, just not the ideal day for us, as we have obviously real racing obligations on those days. But I did tell him if it happened to fall on a Sunday, that we could potentially get in on it.
Yes.
As race season is
do it on a Sunday.
And,
do it on a Sunday.
Yeah, do it on Sunday. Sundays, we got you. We can do Sundays quite a bit. Excuse me. But
or why don't they do the 500 miler the following Thursday night?
Well, I mean, anything is possible. We'll see.
After the championship is finalized, obviously.
Depending on my work schedule as well. These full-time jobs, Leslie, they really get you down. You got lots going on. Speaking of going on, we got a battle going on for the lead. As right now, McCoy is running down Bustler. And no surprise, we saw Bustler get into the wall. We saw a little bit of scuffle between him and another driver. So Bustler probably has a significant damage that's just not quite visible to us. And now he's trying to deal with that. He's also dealing with McCoy as McCoy's trying to get by him for the lead.
And by the way, under 20 laps to go, 15 remaining, as a matter of fact. Bustler right now up in front. Number 5 seed. The man he's battling is Kyle Bowling. Kyle Bowling is in 5th. Bustler looking for a win. Even though he hit the wall, he's up at the wall again. Not anymore. McCoy inside. Kyle McCoy, number 2, battling Chris Smith on the points in this bracket challenge. Smith is stuck in 10th.
And
they're battling door to door. Charles for the lead. Lap traffic in the way of Graham.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if Graham is going to play a factor in this. And, Graham, I believe, is on the lead lap. Yes, he is. He's a lead lap car, so he does not want to just pull over and let these guys by, as he is going to get right hooked.
Oh, no! Graham in the hook! In the wall!
And that is not good for Graham. As,
wow!
That car is heavily, heavily damaged now. Yeah, and, you can't fault Grimm here. Oh, Bustler back into the wall again. But Grimm was on the lead lap. He was trying to stay on the lead lap in the event of a caution. So, he was not a lap car that needed to pull out of the way. He was battling to save his run here tonight.
McCoy, Rickard, Bustler, 3 cars for the win. Bustler falling back. He's up in the wall again. Rickard's in the safer barrier. McCoy to the inside of most of the double yellow line, going below it. And somehow they hold it together. Rickard out of nowhere. Number 1 seed, number 1 in the points, number 1 on the racetrack, battling with Ogle. Ogle crashed out earlier. 10 to go at the Rock, Charles.
Yeah, and just as I figured, you do see Dylan Grimm. He is out of this race. It looks like he is on pit road. Unfortunate for him. He was just trying to survive out on the track, and unfortunately, that was a product of it. We'll get back to the lead. We got a little battle going back here. Again, every battle matters because every position matters here in the bracket. So those guys duking it out as the 30 is going to get by the 46. That is, of course, Josh Robinson getting by Zach Kreitz. And we go back, we pick up the front. Not a huge amount of battling going on here, but the front is, by the way, we have 9 laps to go.
That's right. Under 10 remaining. For the Stars and Stripes Racing League American 150. You were saying, Charles.
I just didn't expect lap cars to play a factor in the battle for the lead. Again, I say that not giving any fault to Dylan. He was trying to hang on to the lead lap, and in the process, contact was made. I don't know if I would say he had fault, but more battling is still going on for about 7th, 8th, and 9th. You got Hess back here in the 42 or 45, 54. You got Bratt and McNally. All these guys duking it out for a top 10.
And while all that goes on, 5 laps to go when they come back to the line. There's Hess, McNally. They're battling. That's in 9th and 10th. As here comes Rickard. And there's Smith, by the way. Under the top 10 inside. 5 laps to go. We watch now 3 wide almost. If Chris Smith can get to the bottom, he's after McNally. Close it on Hess on the outside. And Charles back to the leaders with Rickard up front as McNally clears by Hess finally. Meanwhile, lap machine to the inside. That's that 16 car of glass, and quickly Rickard makes short ends on him.
Yeah, the 16 is pretty fast considering he is a lap car. I believe quite a few laps now, if I'm not mistaken. But he's back there, yeah. He's in 21st position, so he's several laps down. But he's still got a hot rod. The thing ain't exactly a slouch to get by, as Rickard's going to try. So we have 3 laps to go, just a handful left. And Rickard's starting to show he has a nice, fast car.
Does anybody got anything for that driver Rickard. McCoy back to second now. He continues the battle with Glass on the bottom. There's Tom Ogle. What problems Ogle had, ironically, he's right there alongside with his nemesis in the bracket challenge. But he's going a lap down. Ogle way in the back after crashing out 2 laps down, maybe more. This time by, he comes to the line. 2 to go for the 0-5, and now it's the white flag, the CRN, 1 to go. Tire Pro Chevrolet. Only fitting, Charles Wooten, to kick off the American 150 on the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. The number 1 seed, the man that leads the point, comes to the line and wins at the Rock. He takes the American 150, and he'll advance to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better race. You come in number 1, you leave number 1 in advance to the 16. Yeah, perfect run. He wasn't up there all night, but he did it. He got it done in the end.
And it seemed like one point Will Bustler was just picking him up and putting him down. He was going to be the cat's meow, if you will, to win. Unfortunately, that all changed, no doubt about it. And there's the celebration for Scott Rickard. Winner advances in. The number 1 seed drops down. Number 4, Tom Ogle. He will advance to the next round. Remember, in the bracket, driver, and this is the best way to help you real quickly as we see Scott Rickard celebrating. Charles, put up the bracket real quick, my friend. Put up the bracket. This is the Cole Trickle and Rowdy Burns bracket. Okay, so I want you to get acquainted with the drivers that are, and I know it's hard, but you've got all these drivers that are in the bracket. Now, we mentioned some drivers in the Rowdy Burns bracket that were not present, so they're going to advance on. So the names we mention ahead of the drivers that are in their bracket, they go on to the next round. Like, for instance, Scott Rickard, Tom Ogle, we mentioned that right before the end, Charles. He's number 1. He wins the race. He automatically drops out. Tom Ogle is eliminated. Kyle McCoy, obviously, ahead of Chris Smith. So they will move on to the next round. They'll face each other. What a Rickard-McCoy battle you'll have in round 2 next week at Nashville. All right, so here's your results. Cue up your little music there, Charles, as we always go into post, my friend. Here's the results of the American 150. Remember, higher driver in the seed that you just saw in the bracket advances. Scott Rickard will pick up the win. I'll try to help you out along the way if this will be of any assistance. Tom Ogle is eliminated. Kyle McCoy will finish second. He was number 2. He eliminates Christopher Smith, as you see, finishes in 10th. Kyle McCoy second. Will Bustler is third. Will Bustler will advance over Kyle Bowling. How about this, Charles? By 1 position. Best battle on the racetrack. Best battle in the bracket. Will Bustler, Kyle Bowling. And he got him by 1 spot. Ross Tatum, 5th. Go ahead, you were saying.
Nah, you couldn't get any tougher than that, but he pulled it off by 1 spot.
Yeah. By 1 spot, man. Obviously, this is what you got to love about the bracket. Ross Tatum will finish 5th ahead of Christian Lawson, obviously. 6th is going to go to Joshua Robinson. Joshua Robinson, obviously, is ahead of Dylan Hoffman, so he will advance. Nice way of saying it. Zach Kreitz is obviously in the battle with Timmy McNally. There you go again. 2 spots back is McNally in 9th. Jason Cratton. Cratton battling, obviously, with Josh Whitaker. He's ahead of Whitaker. He will advance. Christopher Smith, obviously, is out of the bracket challenge because Kyle McCoy finished ahead of him. So here's to help you out, Charles. The first 9 drivers are going to the Sweet 16 or the Fast 16. They're going to the next round.
I'll be honest, you're much better keeping up with this than me. I'm gonna have to color code stuff so I can keep up with it a little better.
Well, I mean, I do a lot of sports with brackets. So to try to help me out, I've got the bracket in front of me and I got the names ahead, and obviously what names are ahead are the ones that have advanced. So there you go. And you've got the rest of the finishing order unless you want me to continue with the bracket.
You are doing great. I will let you finish with the bracket.
Oh, okay. Andrew Hess finishes in 11th. Obviously, Andrew Hess was. Oh man, who the hell was he battling here? Actually, I don't see him. Oh yeah, there he is. He was battling Paul Thomas. So Andrew Hess will advance. Dylan Hoffman obviously was battling with Josh Robinson. He will, of course, not be able to make it as Josh Robinson finished, I believe, ahead of him, if I'm looking correctly. Yes, he did. So obviously now Hoffman is eliminated. Aaron Hell will finish 13th on the racetrack, and obviously Aaron Hell was in a battle. He did not advance, so tough break there for Aaron Hell. Christian Lawson, as we mentioned, has been eliminated. Obviously, Charles, by Ross Tatum's good finish. Then you've got the other drivers, including Zachary Smith, Trey Jackson, Ryan Lynch, Josh Whitaker, Brian Lynch, drivers from 16th on back, a lap down or more. And pretty much the big name guys that we've mentioned making to the top 10 have advanced, obviously. Dylan Glass, 21st. Everyone else, multiple laps down. Thomas Ogle, obviously, number 4 seed coming into it, lost out, crashed out. Scott Rickard, obviously, takes him down on the bracket, number 1 with the win. And then, of course, you got drivers William Duff, Mark Schrader, Greg Hammond, top 25, Dylan Grimm, Paul Thomas, Mark Fish, regardless of the bad night, Charles, at 112 laps down, crashing on the backstretch. He still advances to the next round. And obviously, James Waldo will finish in 29th. Virginia 811 race summary. There it is. 2 cautions. That's all it was. 2 yellow flags. 6 caution laps in total. 8 lead changes when it was all said and done. Charles, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun race, man. I did.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race. And, the best part, we usually go talk to these guys here in the top 3 and see what their thoughts are on the race.
Hey, so why don't we take a break real quick because we haven't ran a lot of commercials. Let's go to commercial break. iRacing on LSRTV, the Stars and Stripes Racing League. And when Charles and I return, we'll grab these drivers' thoughts of round 1 of the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge at the Rock. Scott Rickard, number 1 seed, winning here at the American 150. We are back in a moment with the post-race wrap-up.
Of speed, 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
it. Of course, Race On is the official broadcast provider of the Comp Cam's Dirt Car Super Series. Their next race is April 5th and 6th, 5,000 to win at Poplar Bluff Speedway, and April 6th at Old Number 1 Speedway, a couple of 5,000 to win shows. One of those races on Saturday night, I love this, is the Cow Patty. Welcome back to the American 150. Did you catch the segue? Pardon the pun. For the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge for the Stars and Stripes Racing League, Charles Wooten, he'll give final synopsis and analysis on the race and closing in a moment. I'm Wesley Outlet, and we go to victory lane. Scott Rickard, number 1 seed on the points, number 1 in the bracket. You took down Tom Ogle. Ogle had his problems in the early going. You battled back to get around Bustler and McCoy, and you win, man. Congratulations all the way from the number 1 spot to advance to the next round.
Yeah, I love this track, so it's nice to win here again. It's been a while since I've done it. And that was fun trying to run them down at the end, too.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go back to the race itself, man. Being a good old New York guy yourself, what was it like watching this battle? And I got to ask you, you and Bustler hitting the wall, was there a strategy in that? Was you trying to get some, kind of like Darlington stripes at the Rock? Was it giving you momentum to move the car, get faster, to run down your adversaries?
Nah, it was hurting me at least. Every time it didn't help the car turn at all for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Last question, segue, and thanking your sponsors. What does it mean to get a win here, obviously, in the On the Bracket Challenge, and you'll advance to the next round?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of brackets and try and make racing more like other sports, but I just come out and try to win races.
Okay, well, before we let you go, thank your sponsors.
Tire Pros, High Rock Vodka, my team, my dog, everybody, and anybody that puts the league on.
I guess at the end of the day, Scott, to segue to this, you just got to focus on the race yourself, right? I mean, I know you got to think about who's in your bracket, but at the end of the day, you just got to do what you got to do on the racetrack, and that's what you did.
Yeah, I got eliminated from the bracket last season by finishing second to the guy that I was going against, so I'm worried about my race and just doing what I can each race for it.
Well, there you go. That's what he did tonight when it's said and done. Scott Rickard picking up the win. The Tire Pro Chevrolet, the man out of the Empire State of New York. And make no doubt he'll advance to the next round of the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge, and he will continue to hold on to that points lead. Let's go down to second place, and we'll grab the man that has been on a tear for a while. 2 wins in a row. Kyle McCoy, you'll settle for third. Or second, I'm sorry, for your third race to try to go for 3 wins. For a hat trick, you'll settle for second. But you advance to the next round of the Bracket Challenge, and obviously a good run for you there. Your take of the event in the 7.
Yeah, first of all, this track's awesome. I'm glad we run it every year in this league. It is so much fun. The setup was good, and I had a great time out there racing these guys. Kind of found myself in a pretty good spot, and just it's tough to pass when you get up around the outside, and I was pushing as hard as I could and kind of ran the right rear off, and once Scott got around us, Scott made a great move and put it in the fence, and it worked out for him, so that was awesome. It's going to be a race I remember for quite a while, so really good time. Had a blast racing these guys, and second's the first loser, but we'll take it.
Well, I'll tell you what, everything that you needed to do, definitely being consistent. You move. Are you a fan of the challenge? Are you a fan of the bracket?
Heck yeah. I'm glad to be moving
basketball,
on.
Right?
Yes, I am catching Scott at the perfect time next week too. We're going to Nashville, and by his own admission, he struggles there a little bit, and that's one of my favorite racetracks. So we'll see if we can take him out next week. I don't know. He's so good, you never know what you're going to get, but. I like my chances catching him at the right spot. Yeah, I love it. It's a great initiative by the league. Thanks to the sponsors that put it on. And it's a whole lot of fun.
Just remember what team you're on.
Yeah, but Scott Rickard and Kyle McCoy will battle it out, obviously, in the next round of the bracket challenge to decide who goes to the semis. So. There you go. Should be a fun one at Nashville. They're already trash talking one another, and that's what it's about right there. Before I let you go, Kyle, Thank your sponsors, man, obviously. And I know you're cheering on the Cyclones, too. Did they go to the playoffs? Iowa?
Yeah, we won our first round NCAA tournament game today, so pumped about that. Hoping we get to play Drake. Drake is from my hometown of Des Moines, so that'd be a pretty cool in-state matchup in a national tournament. So definitely looking forward to it. We're killing it right now. So yeah, thanks to Celsius, thanks to Iowa State, thanks to my teammates. Kyle Bowling finished 4th tonight too. Had a great run. He probably would have got us if we had messed around any further up there. So thanks to and Trey as well. Thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I'm gonna be excited to see this move that Scott pulled on us here and took us 3 wide. I don't know how he did it, and I don't know how it stuck off the wall. So I'm excited to go back and watch it. And yeah, thanks to Nate and Brian and Derek and everybody that puts this league on. All our sponsors on the throttle, Verizon. Everybody that makes this happen. It's really fun, as you can see. We had a great race, and we look forward to some more of those.
Was a fun one for sure. Kyle McCoy again tonight will finish in that number 2 spot after 2 straight wins in a row. Hey, by the way, On the Throttle podcast available on all major platforms and outlets for the Bracket Challenge sponsor. NASCAR racing podcast for fans by fans. Based out of the heart of Charlotte, North Carolina. Everything from NASCAR, iRacing, and more. That's, of course, On the Throttle podcast. Find it on major platforms and outlets on social. Let's go down to the 3rd place, man. Oh, my, Will Bustler in the Bustler Racing Engines. Michael Jordan, Toyota number 1 from Virginia. You'll settle for 3rd. You're taking this race. You got in the wall first, dude. Did that really hurt the car at the end of that last stretch of the green flag pit stops? And obviously a good podium. You do advance to the next round, obviously, in the challenge.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate kind of how the way it ended up. It's funny how it ended up. Under the first caution that we came in, Fuelman did not fill up the tank all the way, so I had to pit a little bit earlier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I guess I'm lucky that the way that it came out this way. So I mean, I'll take it. But definitely a mistake on my part. I must have unchecked something. But yeah, I mean, the wall smack. I hit a really good one time. I definitely felt the wheel move just ever so slightly, and I think that just kind of hurt me long term. I was hoping I'd be able to get to the lap traffic and get some open track there when they were about 6 seconds behind me, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way.
I'll tell you what, man, obviously, you had probably the best car here at the American 150 at the Rock. What's your take of the green flag pit stop and then obviously the strategy of trying to run back down Scott Rickard and obviously Kyle McCoy and everybody that was in front of you, and then kind of that 3 wide battle into the wall you and Rickard both did. Rickard was able to prevail and save it, but did you damage your car too much where you kind of fall back? Is that how you fell back to the podium on 3rd?
I mean, I was running super hard there when I pit under green flag, so I had to make up as much time as possible. So probably when Kyle was about a half second behind me, it was just too late. I burned him up way too fast. So I really didn't have anything there at the end. I felt like the car was okay. Ross definitely, I felt, had the better car tonight. Unfortunately, it did not work out the way that he had hoped. But he was fast. I was hoping that he'd be able to pull it out. But all in all, I mean, it was fun. Lap traffic, like I said, it's tough here. The car is super challenging to drive. They said that this is one of their favorite tracks. I don't get it, but props to them. They pulled out 1 and 2, so good for them.
Hey, Bustler, so you advance to the next round of the Bracket Challenge presented by All the Throttle podcast. What's your take of obviously going up against, let's see,
Josh.
who will it be? It's going to be Josh Robinson, man.
Yeah, Josh he's consistent, so I really just have to stay out of trouble and just stay focused. He's a heck of a driver, so hopefully, I know he likes to save a little bit early on, so hopefully he can continue that and I'd be able to stay out in front of him for the night. So we'll see how it goes, but he's a heck of a driver. It should be a good one.
Well, buddy, we'll let you go. Thank your sponsors. We'll see you next week at Nashville.
Thanks, sir. Shout out to the league. Shout out to Nate for running this. Verizon on the Throttle Podcast, Butt Kicker, Next Level Racing, LSRTV. You guys do a phenomenal job. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Shout out to my wife, Heather. She puts up with my iRacing nonsense. My dad's watching. Shout out Dad. Teammates, Ross, Jonathan Woods. Hope you're recovering. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll see y'all next week.
There you go. Will Bustler from the Commonwealth of Virginia. He will advance, obviously, as I aforementioned, to the next round. So I can tell you unofficially right now, Scott Rickard, Kyle McCoy, Will Bustler, Josh Robinson, Ross Tatum, Zach Kreitz, Josh Whitaker, and William Duff, I believe, got ahead of Nate Lynch, I believe, at the end. No, he did not. So actually, believe it or not, it is actually going to be William Duff out, Nate Lynch going on to the next round. So those are your drivers in the Cole Trickle bracket, Charles. And then the drivers in the Rowdy Burns bracket that have advanced, including James Howard, Mark Schrader, Ellis Thomas, I believe, was behind Brian Lynch. So Brian Lynch will advance. Ryan Lynch will advance. Greg Hammond will advance. Paul Thomas was ahead of Andrew Hess, I believe, at the end. No, Andrew Hess was ahead of Paul Thomas. So Paul Thomas is out. Andrew Hess will advance. Mark Fish advances. And it looks like Zach Smith is going to advance. Charles, so those are your next drivers. Those are your Sweet 16 going to next week to Nashville. Your take of tonight, man.
It's basketball. It's racing. It's March Madness. Again, I know, some fans, some not. I like it. It's something different from the norm. And I'm looking forward to the round of 16 and getting some colors in the overlays and let the fans know who's battling who.
By the way, I think I made a mistake. Just one, Zach Smith was in attendance. Mitch Smith was not. He is eliminated. So Zach Smith goes on to the next round. So 15 out of 16 ain't bad, but those are your drivers going to the next round, Charles. Should be a fun and exciting one, man. We're glad you joined us for iRacing on LSRTV. Thanks for having the time to join us here on this Thursday night. Thank you to all of the sponsors one more time, including Butt Kicker. All the sponsors of the Stars and Stripes Racing League, Butt Kicker. Appreciate them. Next Level Racing, the Bracket Challenge sponsor on the Throttle Podcast in the Queen City, from NASCAR to iRacing on all major podcast platforms. And finally, the nation's #1 5G network, Verizon. So, 16 drivers down, 16 advanced to the next round. It is on to Nashville for the Music City 200 at the Nashville Super Speedway next Thursday night. Congratulations to New York Scott Rickard getting it done in the Tire Pros entry number 1, the driver of the number 05. And obviously we'll see how things shake up next Thursday night, as we mentioned. The On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. The road to the playoffs continue. And the end of the season in the balance. And we're looking forward to bringing it to you week in, week out. For Rocket Racing Media, Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten on production and on the color commentary call. This is Wesley Outland reminding you our next broadcast is Sunday night with qualifying for the duels and the Daytona 200 for season 11 of the Northwest Racing Series for next Monday night. That's Sunday night for iRacing on LSRTV and on simulcast, the Community Radio Network. Good night from The Rock. The American 150 goes to Scott Rickard. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy.